having more joiners, listeners, panelists. Please wait for a moment, then we will start.
Hello and welcome. The video will start in a short time. Please wait a moment. Thank you.
Okay. Guys, we just need to wait for the Dr. Kamalabadi, and then we'll start.
Recording in progress.
Hi, Sam. Hi, Tris. How are you doing?
Yeah.
Hi, Rob.
Hello.
Good.
Hi. Hi. Hello.
Thanks for joining.
Absolutely.
We're just waiting to make Dr. Kamalabadi host, and then...
Yeah, I heard so.
Can't see him.
What a great turnout today.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Look at that number. Wow.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, we need to just make Kamalabadi host. How are we progressing with that?
He's definitely on, he said. Oh, here he is.
There we go.
Finally.
We can't start without you.
Yeah, last but not sorry for that. Sorry for that.
Yeah, the video still is not on. It doesn't allow. Now it's okay.
Okay.
Oh, nice to see you all. I was here, just waiting.
Absolutely. And Farzam, I'm having to be very privileged and blessed to introduce your good friend, Ali Maki from Private Office. And I think, just to set the scene, thank you everyone for coming. This is StableDAO Boardroom Zoom. We've got most of the board members. Nick is, I believe, on a flight somewhere, and we also have our special guest. So I want to hand over to you, Dr. Farzam, to set the scene. The topic today, I believe, is building strong foundations. And I think what is more strong as a foundation than proving a real material contracts that people can do due diligence on involving real assets, real estate. Over to you.
Yes, first of all, blessings to see that we have nearly 400 participants. That's the double of even last time, more than the double, and it's all on the rise. So that shows, consensus. We hear when there's a broad-based group of people are interested, that itself is a proof to ourselves that we are doing something correctly. And of course, once the whole cycle is completed, that means the capital raised is deployed into the project and the project kicked off. So the early movers, the early risers will take the benefit and others will also join. I mean, in life is always the case. There are those early who give the vote of confidence, and then the rest will show up a bit later. And then in our arrangement, it is so smooth because from the what we call early in those who are in the digital economy, who are fast mover, and yet then we will have the ticket from the classic investors that will come later. They are a little bit slower, but normally they are larger. But the combination create a very interesting community because they feed off each other and they support each other in one sense. And once the two direction of capital raise goes to the project is the winner. So the engine of any business is the how real the project is, how solid the project is, and what kind of upsides it entails. So when we have a country that is stable like Malaysia, which is a mid-level country with high potentials, has always been stable. See, that's the only country where there are different chieftains who are kings and they rotate. For over 50 years, they have rotated. There is no transition of power that is like power struggle. They have learned how to be in unison. The country has Malaysians, Chinese, Malays, and also Indians. They have always been in peace. And it is even better than other Southeast Asian countries in that unity in diversity. The business there has always been steady. They definitely are diversifying, not away from China, it's just diversifying, not against any nation. They are basically diversifying. And then because they have, everyone who knows Malaysia and Malaysians, they are the fun people in the world. They speak 5 or 6 or sometimes 7 languages. And they joke that we don't speak any one of them perfectly, but they're actually quite good. Very humble group of people. So I'm really, because we have talked about the business itself many times, I wanted to spontaneously give a flavor of that we are lucky that we're starting with this nation. As the StableDAO, which by itself says we want to be stable ourselves. The founders and the project, we want to be stable and long-term. And therefore we are after real business, real investments, real results. And also we want to be repeated and continuous, and projects may develop more even in Malaysia, but we already have interest from so many other countries to join and bring us very high return, low risk, good quality, substantial projects. The Malaysia itself, the project is quite large piece of land that will turn from agricultural to industrial, but in a very high tech, because the theme is aero and space. So aerospace, airline industry, the drone industry, the space industry, the space, not on a national governmental only, because although this project has started by the government initiation, but it has a public listed company, it has a medley of PPP, private-public partnership, which again makes it broad-based, makes it another layer of stability. So I'm sure that we are not too far from, we have started a subscription period. Actually, you guys have done. I am here now just more as a support role. And because I am a believer in you people as individuals, and also the team, the founders, as those who have a great history. The more successful you are, the more the market has different opinions, and we welcome every opinion with great open heart and mind, because, you know, ocean can take in anything, can take in the storm, can take in the garbage, can take in the waves up and down, and yet ocean is steady, is always there, is stable. So today, somehow my talk is not on focusing on the economic part of it, maybe as an older man, and a bit we can say the one who is involved in the destinies of many nations. And for that matter, tonight I'm flying to Zimbabwe, invited by the president himself and by a whole, not only one president, but the whole group, the whole leadership collectively, because they want also collective rise of Zimbabwe. They want the peaceful rise of Zimbabwe, and they want the collective rise of Africa, that movement that I have started. And so all of those countries, they have their own challenges, they have their own problems, but they are all interested. They want to become, again, stabilized, the financial system to become very much stable, and then they want the sanctions to be lifted off. They want to go into the international economy in the right way. So we are visiting them. So there are other countries that are already in the good level. For example, Ghana. And with Ghana, we are definitely deeply already involved. We have our own project of a large piece of land with social housing that is already granted to us ourselves, Future Trends. And also in the next probably season of the fund of StableDAO, we will probably introduce I don't want to say strongly, but I want to say probably, but actually we have lined up several countries and several projects that based on our own experience of how we have deployed the first round of investments, how we have completed the circle and the cycle, and the investment has given the rewards as we expected, and the money has been returned to the investors. If they want to be short-term players and they can exit, if they want to be longer players, they will reinvest. So we would like to bring really cycles of projects, starting with Malaysia. And the project in Malaysia, the Trace worked so much on it, and his team, of course, and they have really done a very solid job as far as the structuring of it, the packaging. Oh, we got our another structure corporation listed, created just last week, registered in Malaysia. So we are having several structures to buttress this project. And by the way, the project is not only in the future the aerospace and its production, because it's part of the government promise between, when the governments, Malaysia has a lot of money. They invested to buy technology and also the products from Turkey first, and then from other projects. The term is that we will not buy from you unless you localize. So the manufacturing has to become localized. It's a play of technology transfer. And I'm glad that it is South-South, or we can call it is between the rising nations, not only the West. So I had a movement that's called Rise of the West. Now is the time for the rise of the rest. So while the West, US and Europe have risen, now it's time for the other countries to rise. So when a technology transfer is between Turkey, which is part Europe, actually now physically in legally Europe, but also a part in Asia. And so it is a hybrid itself. We have our theme of hybrid. Turkey itself is a hybrid nation. And so is Malaysia. So it's very interesting that we will have these two nations working together. Both of them, they were not third world countries. They're always like second world countries coming up to the becoming first world countries. Our whole interest as an individual, everyone who knows me for 30 some years, they know we are dedicated to the collective rise of nations and of societies. And the art is not the rich become more super rich, which is also fine with us. We are not against anyone. It is also the lower layer societies to become rich and to become affluent. We want to call it wealth creation and distribution at the same time, creating an average affluence rise. Because affluence, anywhere it's created, it creates other layer of stability. Especially, we want to start this StableDAO from Asia, Malaysia, where it is stable. And we will have already, even in Malaysia, we had last time introduced Langkawi project, we will have more than one or two projects. They are all coming. As you know, when you are successful, it creates a vortex. So more money is going to come into, and more projects want to join us. It's back to back. So now we want to grow in that success as a whole galaxy, as a whole constellation of the private investors and later the institutional investors, and then us as the core, and then go down to the project. The project creates the success, and this cycle is repeated. So yes, anything, okay, I'm very open always, because I'm as truthful as we can get. Anything can go wrong anywhere, but the intention must be pure and correct, and the ability, credit of the history of the people should be there. And also the project itself from the beginning, it wasn't what we call it quasi project. It's actually a real project. So with that background, I want to give the floor back to you. And I again want to introduce Sir Ali Makki, very young, but yet very accomplished, already has raised several rounds of capital into so many different projects, whether it has been in energy or in real estate or in blockchain. In fact, he just raised, I don't want to mention the name of the royal family, one young lady, royal family of Saudi, and Sir Ali, I was in the picture and the progress, how he raised money for that group, because they are creating a smart city, and they want myself to come in and to become probably another chairman of this entity. And the lady said, oh, we have also other land in Saudi. Can we bring the land in Saudi when we do a similar project as in Malaysia, as in also Saudi in a StableDAO. So we have, with this one, I just let Mr. Ali Maki himself, I don't know whether he is now part of our, okay.
Right now.
Okay, sure. So
Hello.
with that, we'd like for him to speak, with your permission.
Thank you, Dr. Fazam, for the introduction, and thank you for your beautiful words. Gentlemen, first of all, I'm very, very, very honored to be part of such a beautiful team. Everybody has such a beautiful mind within this team. And to be honest, I've seen a lot of projects in my days, even though they haven't been long days. But the special thing about this project is, I would say, is basically the real estate that's actually backing the assets. Real estate historically has always been very human of us. Land in general, you can go back years and years and years, and real estate has always been either in any form, something very, very crucial to economy. So it's one of the hardest assets because it's limited, and that's what makes it so special. So I feel like just the chance for the majority of the world to just even look at a project and invest in a project like this is just something so amazing, because even in the region, while we were raising the funds for this smart city development, I found it very, very alluring to a lot of big investors and classical investors due to the fact that it was real estate. Whereas when I was raising funds for a digital bank or Web3 funds, it wasn't as alluring because it's not something tangible. The fact that land is involved in this makes it just so much more special. And the team that's running this, the team that's behind it, is filled with beautiful minds, good hearts, and good souls. I wouldn't say that lightly. I never do. Just having Dr. Fazam, I mean, alone is amazing. So again, an honor. And Triz, I'd like your thoughts on differentiation between raising funds for something like real estate and something like Web3. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the two worlds are very different. The way the people in Web3 approach their business and their endeavors is very different from the institutional side, which you and I have been involved in. And it's very exciting to see how both sides are so very interested in each other. I wasn't expecting quite so much interest from the institutional side, and that's what I've been noticing in the last 10 days or so. That's a shock to me, and it's a very welcome shock. I was amazed to see very high-level institutional experts quizzing us very closely on exactly what we do, and also expressing their amazement at what's possible in the Web3 world. If we can truly put these together, which we're endeavoring to do now, in the way that we plan to do it, it really will be world-changing. It's quite an incredible opportunity for all of us today. Frankly, myself, I can't wait till we get to the 29th and we can start working with our subscribers and producing these returns that we know have been built up. For example, the Sroll project has been going for 5 years. I was speaking to Yun Xiao, who was in your position a few weeks ago, and he was explaining just how much effort and how much of his life he's put into this project that we're now enabling all our subscribers to benefit from. So this is an amazing turn of events that we're dealing with right now. Quite unprecedented. And Web3 was I was part of Web 1, and we always felt that we didn't know about Web 2, of course, at that time, but we always felt that the internet was an entry into something new. And I think in Web 3, we're starting to see something quite startlingly different from what we've seen in Web 1 and Web 2. This is going to affect every part of our lives, every decision is going to be changed by this new world that we're moving into right now. Isn't that right, Sam?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what is really exciting is people are building smart cities, integrating all this Web3 technology into the physical infrastructure, and augmenting the experience that we all have when we interact in a physical world, because digital is ultimately not going to benefit us if it's not benefiting our physical condition. So I see a lot of opportunities and activities that, for example, Saudi Arabia is delivering on, and that's because they have a window of time to diversify very quickly their economy into the future, and of course away from the non-renewable resources of the past. This involves a couple of projects, and I would like Ali for you to take this one and showcase some of the opportunities that are in the region, and of course how you see them playing out, how we can get involved and participate in building these visions.
Sure. Thank you. Very well said. And the reason I asked that question was to show you that, like you guys said, to show you that when two things are separate, the combination of them is so magical. So, and it just makes everything so much more seamless. And that's what the market wants these days, something seamless and beautiful, and the ease of access to it. So the balance of the both is what you guys are doing here, and excellence in that. So in regards to your question, there are a lot of opportunities in Saudi Arabia right now. And before I start with the opportunities, you'd be surprised at one thing, that a lot of family offices and private offices that I've worked with, a lot of their generational wealth is actually invested in specifically Malaysia. And it's for a great reason. Geographically, look, the position of it is amazing. Just where it is between Singapore and the rest of Asia, it just makes it so seamless for the world to get around. That's one. Two, it's safe. It's homey. There's beautiful energy around it. It's always been a great place. So Saudi is very attracted, specifically Saudi is very attracted to invest in Malaysia, and they've been doing it for a very, very long time. So now when opportunities open up in Saudi, all this land that's been being developed, for example, places like Neom or the Line, etc. So these places do have a lot of spaces and contracts and projects available that wouldn't be available to us if we were, just your average Joe. And you guys make that accessible to everyone. And hopefully, after this first project and after it's a success, we can definitely venture out into Saudi and create something magical there.
Absolutely. So I think the profile of Malaysia also being as an Islamic country backed by Sharia law has made it a prime candidate, and of course less hurdles for your funds to deploy in that region. So I understand there's a natural flow from there. The opportunity, I think, is we're running out of time to really create the 3 billion new urban, because there will be 3 billion people that are joining the urban environment in the next 25 years. So we're running out of time, right? And if anyone takes a plane and flies from point A to point B, they can see there is actually plenty of land.
Yes.
But the land being empty is not allocated and planned efficiently. And because it's not allocated and planned efficiently, it's causing significant issues when a young population comes in seeking opportunity in an urban environment, and of course, when they cannot find that opportunity, they end up living in the slums.
Yes, yes, very, very true. And all this land that hasn't been built is for one very good reason. I mean, I'll just say it. It's first, the public doesn't get to see it and doesn't have access to it. Second, they don't, even if they did see it and had access to it, they wouldn't be able to invest in a creation of something amazing. So the seamlessness of this and just the ease of access, ease of use of investing in projects like this to develop a whole new, like a whole new world, basically, is phenomenal.
Yeah, and for a lot of the land that is in the Middle East, it's all very, very flat. So
True.
what that means is, you know, no digging of tunnels, no complex build. So it's a brilliant blank canvas, and I think that is why a lot of top airlines have over the last 20 years pop out of the Middle East that of course service the global traveling community. So you know, a really amazing vision that the rulers here have, and of course you know, that could be contributed towards an even greater vision if we're able to attract international participation, especially when we're able to tap retail participation and bring them directly into these government opportunities in these kingdoms.
Yes, yes, 100%. And geographically as well, the Middle East is located perfectly for the whole world. I mean, everybody has a hub here. All the big companies, etc., have all set up shop here because it's in between Asia and the West. So it's the point that connects the East and the West. And not just that, culturally, you've been being like, you're able to see a melting pot of cultures, and it's kind of developing its own little flavor, which is something so beautiful to see. And it's exciting. I mean, growing up here 30 years ago, you wouldn't be able to see a single building. I mean, we used to play football in the sand, and now, you know, you can't get across without a 5-star hotel or, you know, the tallest skyscraper in the world right next to you, which is phenomenal. And PPP was a big part of that, as well as visionaries that we are very, very honored to have leading this. So I feel like vision and the access of land and the majority is what makes the magic.
Yeah, and tell us how you see these PPP structured in, for example, your region in the Middle East.
So in the Middle East, I mean, first of all, it's really hot. So anyone who comes here needs to be able to deal with the heat. But in the winter, it's gorgeous. And you guys know that. Everyone's out and about. So in terms of PPP, I would say structuring it in a way where, I mean, just the way we're doing it right now. That's the most seamless way to do it. I've seen old school structures, and it just doesn't get you the efficiency of utilizing your time. This is quick, it's efficient, and it's a major game changer.
Thank you.
Yeah, Makki mentioned this concept of speed. One of our basically admiration to Mr. Sam Lee is the speed. Either something is ready and it is better today than even tomorrow. For sure, yesterday would have been even better. So that mentality is really pushing the innovation in the world, and also pushing movement of capital and the movement of capital earlier to the projects. You know, it's all like the analogy of an water irrigation tank to the irrigation lands. So the sooner you collect, it's like a rain that you have to collect. And then the sooner you put it to the land, and then you see the rise of the agricultural produce, and the sooner you harvest it back to the collective. And so the cycle, you know, everything in life has had seasons. So business is exactly like that. It's been for 10,000 years, if not more. from the agricultural society. So now our job as entrepreneurs is to create a machinery that over time becomes very smooth. Right project, right contract, right entry point price, right exit price, right management in the project, right capital raising mix from the retail and to the wholesale to the aggregate, and then all of these in a very legally sound structure with the right protections. Obviously, anything we do the first round is not the perfect round, but it's already a great start. And then once it is completed, I'm myself excited to see whether we have created a machinery that is very seamless in flow. So, and also once we have proven to the market that maybe this will become a very major mega machinery of, as I say, that's like the hourglass, takes the capital from the LPs, and that could be retail or wholesale LPs, puts it into the project with very little time wastage and among the middle process. And unlike the hourglass that the central, what do I call it, smart processing center is very narrow, we would like to broaden it so that multi-funds are going seamlessly to multi-projects, and so that whole process itself will also accelerate. So that means that the projects in Malaysia will become projects in Saudi, become projects in Africa, will at some time even go back to become projects in the West, if they give the good returns and if they give the stability. So I think, as Mr. Ali Makki mentioned, we together with him, we already have raised a lot of interest for bigger ticket investors from the region. And we haven't even started China and Chinese and all, like Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, and even Singapore. We haven't even started much information even providing to these regions. In fact, with Sam, because we will speak Chinese, we have that plan. While I'm in Zimbabwe, we will start to trigger the China market also, because the hybrid upon hybrid will give the compound effect, and the investment community gives vote of confidence to each other, and then it will download into the project. And as I again mentioned, I know specifically Sam Lee was not very directly, openly behind a project, didn't come out and put his own brand for a few years. And I know that he did it because the group of us together are very much transparent, above the board. The project is like that, so he's also come out. So, and I've observed the speed and how real he is, the conference he organized, how high quality it was, the follow-ups that we have had now, more than 5 or 6 Zoom calls, how he has been very efficient, and how, again, the numbers are increased. I don't know what is the latest statistics of the people who are already signed in, and today's participation, about 440 matching, was very, for me, it was also a sign, a good sign. And let's just get the momentum going. And as I know that Tris is still working on the last pieces of structural arrangement to be very, very perfect. So we will perfect that as we are doing parallel itself. So we are not linear. Let's perfect everything before, then go. No, it's like how you would do it in an efficient manner. So we are perfecting the structure as we are developing the capital raising, as we have. The good thing is that the contracts we had with the projects went first. That was done quite earlier. So we have had an agreement in place a few months ago. And now the agreement will be revised because we got so much attention from the retail community. So it will be upgraded to the benefit of return to our investors. So hopefully you will, by the 29th, you will have completed some other pieces of it. And so if anyone else in our team has not spoken, it will be good to give them the chance.
Great.
Actually, Chris, you have spoken little.
So I want to add that, yes, let's get some communication going in Chinese. Of course, my Chinese is actually not as good as yours, Farzan. So you just have to forgive me if I get languaging mixed up there.
The Chinese, the good thing is that we don't need to be so formal. You know, it's like a fireside, like a home, and just like chit chat. And they are very good. They are also fast movers in anything to do with what we call, in the beginning, they were factory manufacturers. Then they came private equity, venture capital. I know my friend Hugo, the first IDG, the first fund in China. I know he was a poor student in Boston where he got his driver's license on my car. And then he became a fund manager and became a fund owner and became $15 billion. So we know how whether it's private equity, venture, or later became crowd financing, and then they moved to blockchain and to the crypto, and now they have become. So once we open that community, we will be really drawing down a lot of capital. So as I said, ours is almost like a fund, as I said, train after train, coming and going, and the next and the next. So I hope to see a fund, not like classic fund. You go fund 1, like 2 years, and then 2 years later you have fund 2, and then another 1 year you will have fund 3. Now we will have our fund 1, 2, 3. I think every quarter or every half a year we will have one launching. In fact, it becomes like, you know how in the old time the cities or the towns were separated, and after a while they're all connected, as if all of this is all interconnected. Our fund is going to look like that. So that's why I asked question internally between us and Sam about this season of the capital raising and then our deployment. And it appeared that at least we will have it every quarter, if not every half a year. But then it will become almost like ongoing with non-stop. But that will be probably a year down the road. For now, let's raise this one, close, put into the project, get the returns, get the harvest season, and then come back to the community. Then we will go much wider. As everybody knows, I am not using even less than 0.1% of my global resources in this. So, and the same thing with trees, the same thing with Mr. Sam. So we are not really going fully after it. Why? Because we want to see the early movers, and we want to really be faithful to them too. And so once that is done and they get the early benefit for the other projects, there will be a much larger community. I hope we can make a target that will become a very unique fund in terms of volume, speed, season, and also, as I said, I tell you a story. I was one of my best friends. He wrote so many articles about me, and then he was a good writer. He was the chairman of the railroad authority of the Henan province in Zhengzhou, and I saw a place where in 1 minute 90 trains come and pass through. It's much more tougher by the split second than the air traffic controllers, and only China does it that way. And Henan is like the hub of that. So I hope our fund will become like that we will have projects, investors, fast, and then and a very good precision so we are building towards that direction. Hopefully we will create a fund that will be like an ongoing open fund, as I mentioned.
Absolutely. I think Tris has a few things he wants to say in terms of the structuring.
Yes, absolutely. So well, everything's moving very fast, and Web3 is like a bullet train. You feel like you have to hang on to it, but this is all based on very strong legal structures. We have a great deal of information out there. We're going to make sure that for the subscribers, they will get access to a data room with all the details. That's very important. And actually, I'd just like to take a moment to welcome Torkwan Noor Dalla from the royal family from Kwa. This is the Langkawi side. I know Ralph knows her well. We're very, very honored to have you, Your Majesty, here on this talk that we're doing now. And for the benefit of doubt, because sometimes we do get some doubting people, if there's any information that you specifically need on any of the things we're doing, then please write to contact@stable.limited. We'd be more than happy to go through any queries or questions that come. The data room is there for the subscribers, so please subscribe and you will see everything laid out in front of you. We're building a very strong foundation for the stable DAO. It's not called stable for nothing. This is what it is.
Absolutely. And we set the opening of subscriptions on the 29th, which is a week away. And of course, we cannot be asking people to subscribe and hand over hard-earned money unless we have a full data room so that people can do their due diligence. So that is being put together. All subscribers who have completed KYC will have access to this data room, and it is very important that we then give people the visibility of how the fund is operated and managed, because this will be the first time that we are doing for real traditional classic assets a DAO structure to manage the ownership and of course the exit to back into liquidity and of course the distribution of dividends. So it's, I think, really exciting for us to note that, you know, everything moves very quickly because we are doing something that is involving Web3, but we need to make sure that everything is done in the right way. We owe it to the 150,000+ subscribers that have come on board in the last 7 days. And if we've been looking at the numbers, it has been growing exponential. I think the numbers were yesterday at 30 new registrations per minute, and now it's I think up to 45 registrations per minute. So it's really exciting.
So with that, I think that analogy of the Henan train station wasn't the wrong one. Huh? For that matter, to show it's truthful that 90 trains per minute, it's not one line. If it was one line, it's impossible. It was 20 lines minimum they had. But even that one, the traffic control of it. So we will also have several lines, capital raise through that line, go to the project, and then another line, so parallel in the future. So that your statistics are very, very important, how exponentially it has grown. And if we do every process flow very correctly, and as I said, smoothly into the investment, the return shows within a very short period. Why? Because once you transfer the agricultural land into industrial, already you have a multiplier effect. So once you show that, and we are already fully legally invested into the tranche of the project, I think then our other parts of the fund will activate again. We will have other parallel funds at the same time.
Absolutely. Thank you, Farzan. Sorry, Tris, do you have anything else you want to add?
Only just one thing. It's great to see Ralph here, and we would love to hear a little bit about what you've been doing in the last week or so. Please go ahead.
Sure. Thank you, Tris. First, I would like to say how overwhelmed I'm myself about the sheer numbers we're presenting here. Subscribers and all the people in the audience here. It's over 400, and even this increased by all the meetings we just had. It's overwhelming, and it's great, and I'm very proud and enchanted to be part of all this. It's totally great. So yeah, I had a week of business traveling with a very tight agenda, and now I find myself in my hometown, in my at the place where I was born and was grown up, and I tell you why. It's my mom's birthday today, so we're having a party here. She just turned 94. What you're saying to that? 94. Okay, that's her, and still going strong. She has a great sense of.
Congratulations to her first.
I'll pass it to
Say
her.
the
Thank you,
whole
Farzam.
StableDAO community is
Yeah.
giving her a birthday blessings.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm gonna pass your regards to her, and I already told her about the whole project, and he's very impressed about that, and to create such wealth with a new idea, and to help people in developing countries to improve their lifestyle, and to create wealth. She's totally overwhelmed by this sheer idea, and so I pass you all her regards and her greetings as well. So what did I do within the last week? I had great meetings and talks in person and virtual as well, with the bank managers, investment managers, one CFO of a chemical plant here in Germany, a chemical corporation. I even met a member of parliament, and I had great talks with all of them. And it will take, well, some days or so to have my thoughts on all these new pieces of information, and all these new things that I've heard, and then all the exchange that we have. What I can say is that we have in Germany and in the German speaking countries, we have a landslide development of asset allocation, investment asset allocation. It's a paradigm shift that's been happening here, and it's still going on. I can tell you that all major life insurance companies here in Germany, for their savings plan, they reduced their guaranteed returns to below 100% of the contributions been made into the fund. That's a totally new paradigm. It has never happened before within history, that all major life insurers reduced their guarantees to 60 up to 90%. So for the new plans, not for the existing ones. This is not possible for all the new plans. 60 to 90%. It depends on the specific product. And they are totally restructuring and redesigning their investment portfolios. And so there is an urge, there's a sheer need to take into these investment portfolio elements, DeFi elements. And that's such a great chance for us, because this is the time, that the time is ripe. This is exactly the time to kick into this business, and to convince and to persuade institutional investors of this, what we have to give to them. So that's the situation here, and it's even new to me. You know, I'm doing this pension business for 27 years now. It has never happened before. It's a totally new paradigm that's happening here. It's a paradigm shift. Chris.
Thank you. Please.
Yeah, and it's great that we're able to take this new form of capital from this new industry and be on a level playing field, and deploying it into front-running opportunities that the pension funds need to get into anyways, because these funds ultimately need to deploy in income-generating assets. And if you look at the empty block of land that is producing absolutely nothing, with no infrastructure to even really capitalize on the asset, it just means that the land is really not income generating. So when we get the rezoning permits done, and when we start executing on an income-producing project to convert the land into useful land. That is, I think, where things start becoming very exciting, because all of a sudden you have the ability for us to take this new asset that we've smartly reconfigured to then be in demand and fitting the mandate of these pension funds.
Absolutely, I totally agree. So, yeah, that's a great chance for us to step into, and I think that this investment into infrastructure and real estate, it's more attractive and more digestible for these investors than going into cryptocurrencies. It's just a thought, but I know who this market ticks and the market participants tick, and they do love the real stuff, like real estate, like commodities and infrastructure. That's what they do. So that's a great chance for us.
Yeah, that is very true. That is very true. We can be very open and transparent when we're dealing with real estate, because it's so easy to due diligence.
Sure.
And I think in terms of how much is available out there. Oh, I think we forgot to disconnect the phone.
Time's up.
I think time's up.
And I'll be very quick. So I just want to thank Ali Maki for being our special guest today, joining us from, I think, Dubai. And I believe Farzam, our honorable chairman, is flying to Zimbabwe for 4 days. So on Tuesday, there will be 2 Zoom sessions. One is our normal Tuesday boardroom Zoom with all these lovely, beautiful people here. But I will be doing one more with Farzam, just the 2 of us, in Chinese.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think he could speak with much more gusto and enthusiasm about what he's achieved in China, if he's doing it in his, a native language.
Yeah, China has become my #1 country, my native language, because I was there 33 years. Longer than half of the Chinese people, mind you, because the average age being 30. So, yeah.
Well, I did Hindi yesterday, so it's time for you guys to catch up with me.
And I do Arabic sometimes, so
please.
Oh, wonderful. So there will be jam-packed 2 sessions of Zoom on the upcoming Tuesday, which is only 3 days away. 150,000 subscribers to date. There's 7 more days to go. We really want everybody to take advantage of the early participation program, and hopefully in the next 7 days we'll be able to hit as close to 500,000 as possible. Right, Ali?
that's right.
We were just joking about it just yesterday when I was talking with Ali direct. He's like, don't worry, I'll come on Zoom, introduce some amazing opportunities such as Neom and the Line, and after the Zoom it'll be instantly 500,000. So
I actually said as soon as they see my face, it's gonna go up to 500,000. But yeah, definitely a lot of great opportunities here in the East that we can definitely work together on. So I mean, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate every single moment. Thank you, guys.
Great. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you guys in 3 days' time. Bye-bye.
Best wishes to everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye. Thank you again.
Bye. Take care.
you.